sindiket penyelundupan dengan merampas sebagai jenis dadah berat 112.7 kilogram bernilai 7.2 juta ringgit.
Pengarah Jabatan Siasatan Jaya Bogor.
Hi guys, long time no see. How are you? Are you fine at home?
Hi.
You're just in
It's
time.
been a long time. I haven't seen you guys.
That's good. I'm relieved to know that everyone is doing fine at home. So, shall we talk about something interesting now? Let's see. Oh, I found something very interesting to share to you guys. It's actually about drug trafficking cases. One of the biggest drug trafficking cases in Malaysia. It's occurred last year, 2019, and the drug that was being smuggled is called cocaine. That worth 2.4 billion ringgit, which is very concerning to me, because if there were that huge amount of drug being smuggled, don't you think there were also a huge demand for it, isn't it? And which makes me more curious to know about this type of drug. Does anyone know what type of drug is cocaine and how it's affecting our body?
Thank you, Farah, for asking me that question. I'm quite sure that not everyone knows what cocaine really is. So today, I will let you know that cocaine has its own common features. It will give pleasurable effects as well as negative consequences. For your information, cocaine is very addictive drug and it is commonly abused by people all around the world. It acts as stimulant as it will increase the level of our central nervous system, particularly our brain. For the pleasurable effects, usually people who consume cocaine will experience high level of excitedness, will feel extremely happy, and it will increase in their sexual desire. Next, we move to the bad consequences. People who consume cocaine in large amount of this drug will experience high level of irritability, they become annoyed to the people all around them, and the very bad consequences is that they may get HIV infection due to the needle sharing. So Farah, I hope you understand my explanation of what cocaine is and its consequences towards our body system.
Oh, I see. Do you think they want to get involved with the drug themselves, or is there any other factors that cause them to cause out with the drug?
I want to share with you the factor that causing people become a drug abuse like cocaine from the article that I have read recently. So the article state that environmental is the one of the factor that causing people become a drug abuse. For instance, the conflict within the household will amplify the stress, and it will cause them to seek escape from the stress by taking cocaine. They treat cocaine as a stress reliever as it can give them a pleasurable feeling and can make them forget their problem for a while. Another factor also can be peer pressure. Peer pressure happens when their friends or people surround them taking a cocaine while they are not. It will make them become anxious as they are being different from them. So, as we know, adolescent has a high curiosity and like to explore a new thing. So, they have a high chances involved with the drug abuse as they will try to explore the drugs. So, for example, like initially they try the drugs, the cocaine just for fun or try to test the cocaine taste like. But later on, it will hard for them to resist the urge for them to not take the drugs. So another factor also can be genetic factor, which genetic can increase the likelihood an individual with abuse drug.
Okay, hi guys. Today I'm going to talk about the positive reinforcement of the use of on drug cocaine. And what is positive reinforcement? Positive reinforcement means that giving something to a subject when they perform the desired action, so they associate the action with the reward and do it more often. But in the case of cocaine use, the positive reinforcement will cause the drug user to use more cocaine and causing a pleasurable effect, and eventually it will cause more harm to the cocaine users.
Okay, now let us move to the negative reinforcement in cocaine addiction. Negative reinforcement is defined as the process in which the removal of aversive stimulus, and in the case of addiction, is the probability of response. Okay, for instance, when we are having a cough, we will take the cough syrup so that our cough will goes away. So this is one of the example of negative reinforcement. And there are some factors which negatively reinforce the person to take cocaine. Firstly is craving, meaning that previously a person is addicted towards cocaine and even for many years they are not taking the cocaine, but they might have an intense experience of craving which will lead them to relapse. The second one is dysphoria, which is brain stress. This is a system which will mediate to negative reinforcement. People use the drug because they want to escape from the real world. So they will self-medicate their psychological condition because drugs will help them to forget their problems and also make them to feel good. The third one is depression. Depression also can lead to the compulsive use of cocaine because if they stop using the cocaine, the depression symptoms might reoccur, and the reoccurrence of the symptoms might be worse than before. So this will lead them to take the cocaine again.
Oh, I see. But I feel so bad for people that search cocaine because they are stressed. This is why people said support system is very important, isn't it? Is there any way that we can help them or any treatment that can help them become better?
For your information, Farah, there are a few medications that could help under biomedical approach. During cocaine withdrawal, patients are sensitive to the effect of adrenaline and noradrenaline, and this may contribute to the anxiety and restlessness they feel. Thus, propranolol may be helpful in reducing the anxiety associated with cocaine withdrawal. For the prevention of relapse, GABAergic medication such as baclofen, tiagabine, and topiramate, and the glutamatergic medication modafinil are suited best in reducing cocaine craving and block cocaine euphoria. Not to mention, an old treatment for alcohol dependence, disulfiram, may also have the efficacy for cocaine relapse prevention. Finally, researchers have developed and conducted early tests on cocaine vaccine that are capable of stimulating production of cocaine-specific antibodies for prevention of relapse to cocaine use. But researchers are still working to improve the effectiveness of the treatment.
Yes, Mai, I would like to add the psychological treatment that can be used to treat cocaine addiction. The first one is cognitive behavioral therapy that helps patients to develop strategy to identify and correct their problematic behavior in order to avoid the situation that they most likely need to use drug again and cope more effectively with problems that associate with drug use. The second one is therapeutic community that may require the person to stay 6 to 12 months and may include on-site vocational help and other supportive services such as employment and improving mental health outcomes that focus on successful reintegration of the individual into the community. There are few rehab centers for cocaine addiction in Malaysia. Another rehab center in Malaysia is Pengasih Malaysia that provide drug prevention programs and Southeast Asia that provide evidence-based treatment for drug addiction recovery.
Thank you everyone for all the information. I've learned a lot. Now I know what is cocaine and how dangerous it is to us. And most importantly, I know that drug abuser or those who involve with drug should not be isolated or ignored, but we must help them seek treatment. I guess that's all because I have class later. So bye.
Alright, guys.
Bye, Farah. Hope
See
to see you
Bye.
next time.